Rumblings of the next Naughty Dog project are starting to pick up in intensity. With this, there's some discussions that are rumors that are being debunked. There are some that seem much more legit and locked in. And I'm going to talk about all of it, because here we are. So with this, the first little tidbit that we had pulled up has since been pretty much debunked, which is Naughty Dog's supposed new IP, Timeless Travel, seemingly a fake. This originally started as a story basically describing how, is this the title of Naughty Dog's new game, Timeless Travel Sci-Fi then? Joraptor, maybe something to add to next Sunday's vid. Don't want to share the profile link in case they get taken down quick, but DM me and I can share it. And it was a screenshot of this person saying, environment artist at Naughty Dog for about almost 3 years, and they were working on a new IP, Timeless Travel. It was like, somebody put the name of the game in their LinkedIn description, which is a pretty noob mistake. But it seems that this has been updated. Well, never mind. The LinkedIn profile, which bears the Timeless Travel name, appears to be a fake one, and it looks like it's been struck as well. So there you go. The profile belonging to a supposed Raymond Keller purports to have a background at Bungie and Warner Brother Games Montreal working on Gotham Knights, in addition to a current position at Naughty Dog, but there doesn't seem to be any evidence of such a name in the credits of the aforementioned action game or any Destiny projects. Unfortunately, this seems to be nothing more than a trick. We'll update this again if anything new comes to light, but it's looking like a false alarm. Looks like somebody just made a profile and it was not accurate, which, I mean, honestly, it's pretty easy to fake something like that. But they then, right after this, there were other stories that started coming out that are more confirmed and locked in. Actor Troy Baker, surprising nobody, is set to reunite with Neil Druckmann, everybody's favorite game director, on their upcoming untitled new game. The Sony-owned studio is building a yet-to-be-announced single-player game with Uncharted and Last of Us' chief Neil Druckmann at the helm. Fans know next to nothing about this project, but according to GQ, Troy Baker has signed on to appear in it. Quote, "In a heartbeat, I would always work with Troy," Druckmann is quoted as saying in the article. Baker famously played Joel in The Last of Us Part 1 and 2 for Naughty Dog and has worked closely with Druckmann for years. Yeah, he also was Sam in Uncharted 4. I think it was the first time he worked with him was The Last of Us. I don't think he worked with him before that, but he's a staple of the game. Same with Nolan North. I would be shocked if Nolan North is not in the next game. Same with Laura Bailey. They kind of get this whole cast of voice actors and they just bring them in for every game that they do. In December of last year, Naughty Dog canceled The Last of Us Online in its troubled attempt to create a live service game and live service version of its popular franchise. At the time, the studio said it needed to pull all of its resources into post-launch content for years to come, and that approach would have severely impacted its ability to develop future single-player games. They went on to confirm that it had more than one ambitious brand new single-player game in the works, without revealing anything about them. In June, Druckmann said Naughty Dog was looking to break away from being predominantly associated with The Last of Us. Quote, "I promise you, we will not be The Last of Us studio forever," Druckmann insisted, speaking of Naughty Dog's beloved post-apocalyptic franchise that debuted in 2013 and received its Part 2 sequel in 2020. The studio is otherwise best known for creating the Uncharted franchise, though this was put to bed with 2016's Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, and a smaller follow-up, The Lost Legacy, a year later. This was apparently like sort of an experiment. They wanted to see if they could get Uncharted working as a separate IP, well, as a spin-off IP sort of thing, where they wanted to see if Uncharted worked without Nathan Drake. If you could do it with a different protagonist in different settings and just see how it would work. And I thought it was like, it wasn't the worst thing I'd ever played. It was fine, but it really lacked the soul and the magic of Uncharted. And it just felt off to me. And I know some people really like The Lost Legacy. I just personally, I don't think Nadine is particularly interesting as a character. I do like Chloe, but it wasn't my favorite. It wasn't something I ate up. So I think it's best to just move on from Uncharted and pursue something else, do something else crazy and wacky, experiment with something totally different. That's one bit, is that Troy Baker has signed on to reunite for it. The other piece is an article from Variety. Lucasfilm, Microsoft, Kojima Production execs top Variety's entertainment gaming leaders list. Kojima looks good there. It's a different pair of glasses than he normally wears, but that's a good pair. Kojima, honestly, that's a good pair. Keep wearing them. That's good. That's good. I like it. That's a handsome, that's a handsome woman right there. That's a handsome Kojima right there. Tell you what. If we scroll down, vice president of immersive content at Lucasfilm, honestly, like, I understand these are powerful people, but working at Lucasfilm, I mean, have they had any hugely successful games? Oh no, my camera's dead. Oh no. Hold on. This happens sometimes. Let me reset the power. We're back. Anyway, I was just saying, I can't think of any like big Lucasfilm games that have really popped off. We had Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which did okay. I think it did well. It was a technical wreck at launch, but that was one. Star Wars Outlaws recently, a bit of an oopsie. We had, what else? I mean, we've got Indiana Jones. Maybe that pops off. They used to make pretty good games, I think, in the real olden days. Yeah, it was back when they were allowed to have their own studio. And then Bob Iger came in. They bought Lucasfilm. And then Bob Iger later, they shut down all gaming studios because they're like, it's going to be easier if we let EA develop all of them. And we'll sign exclusive licensing deals to let other studios develop games for us. And they got like Battlefront 1 and 2, and that's about it. Neil, here's the deal. Neil, baby. I think this is actually probably fair. I know people either love Neil or they hate him, but he is responsible for creating The Last of Us, which, like, he's got, I think they won Game of the Year in 2016, or was that Overwatch? Might have been Overwatch. But he's got 2 Game of the Year wins in his belt, tremendously successful games in terms of sales and critical reception, and they converted it into a wildly successful HBO show. And he basically single-handedly crafted a multi-billion-dollar narrative-driven IP. That's awesome. That's impressive. You don't have to like it, but you know, the proof's in the pudding. With these guys, I'm not sure what they've done for the last decade. It's like the old Office Space thing where they sit down at the conference room table. What do you do here? With these guys, I really don't know. But with Neil, I know what he's done, and whether we love it or hate it, it's been successful. But what's interesting is that they also go in here and they have a little bitty interview here. And it says, one of Druckmann's earliest video game memories is of his older brother bringing home a Pong machine. But it wasn't until later he discovered the point-and-click adventures of California-based publisher Sierra Games that he felt that magic, that he would later try to reverse engineer in his work as head of Naughty Dog. One of Druckmann's first projects with the company was Jack 3, and he later went on to work as one of the lead developers on The Last of Us. This is kind of an understatement. He was the creative director for it. He wasn't the gameplay director. That was Bruce Straley, I believe. But he was like the creative director and the writer for the game. And like, it was him and Bruce that pitched it to Naughty Dog executives. So like, he's basically the creator. Although he couldn't spare any details, Druckmann says he and his team have something big coming on the horizon that marks the most excited he has ever been for a project. After directing an episode of the upcoming season 2 of HBO's Last of Us, Druckmann says that seeing the show come to life has been completely surreal, and he has to pinch himself when standing on physical sets like Joel's house. But specifically, this is the part people have taken and said it's the most excited he's ever been for an upcoming project. So the point is, there's a lot of discourse and discussion about the upcoming Naughty Dog project. There's rumors that it's going to be a totally new IP. There's been other statements we've talked about before with Neil, where he's alluded to working with the team on some stuff that has totally blown his mind and has totally surprised him. And that has really excited him and the team. And it seems like whatever they are working on, it's going to be massive. It's going to be very ambitious. And it seems like at the very least, they don't want to be pinned down just doing more and more Last of Us titles. And I think that that is good, because I don't like it when studios are just pumping out different, versions of the same thing 15 times, because that's the safe bet that makes tons of money. I think one of the reasons this generation has felt so weird is because we've not gotten a lot of new IP. We haven't gotten a lot of new exciting things. And I think it's been, a generation of remakes and remasters and sequels pretty much exclusively. And so to get some new IP, some new exciting stuff from some very big studios will be really cool. And it looks like we're going to get that from Naughty Dog. It looks like we're going to get something new from Santa Monica Studio. something new from Sony Bend, although that's probably going to be a multiplayer live service game. And I mean, fair game $. So there's that. And at the very least, if you're not into The Last of Us 3 or whatever Naughty Dog's working on now, at least we will have fair game $. To play. So we can at least rest easy knowing that we will have that. He took my thing.